Welcome to this video. Coach Jerry here. I'm just trying to make sure that everything is stopped here so that we don't get interrupted very often. Welcome to this video. Today I just decided to make, as I'm finally feel better, you'll feel it on my voice, you'll feel it on my energy. So I decided to make a very good educational video. I made a few posts inside my pages asking, would you like me to go live into showing you how to make nutrition simple, right? Like we always try to explain, what's going on in your metabolism and everything, but I do have still the certainty that a lot of you, even some of you being in the program, still don't understand why. I mean, how to make nutrition simple, and of course you would follow our direction, which is amazing. That's what we need to do, and then you'll get results. But we don't yet are, as humans all the time, in control of our principles, right? And I always say it's better to show you how to fish that fish for you, because if I fish for you, then you're always going to need somebody helping you fish. If I don't do that and I show you how to, then it's going to be much easier for you to do the work. Now, this is talking to people in the program. If you're not in the program, this is definitely the video for you, and I'd highly suggest you start doing something with it, because this video will become a tag video inside our resources. It will be going to into our foundation. It will go around. It will go as a resource, getting people to join our community. Because again, it's like at the end of the day, there is always this knowledge right now that there is more information than ever. Yet people still looking for the information. They're still looking for this magical thing that they don't know, are not yet aware of, that supposedly is going to make things very simple and is going to give you the results. Obviously, it's not that's not the case, right? Like that's kind of like the problem that we have. The real value is the application, is the implementation of the information, is what you do with the information you get. And one thing I wanted to show here, and again, I see some of you watching live. Let me know who you are. Let me know I'm just watching, and obviously we are live. Let me know if you're here. Let me know who you are. Let me know if you're watching this replay. And the thing that I wanted to do here is ensure that not only you get a framework, but you understand how weight loss work and how weight loss work in your 40, right? Now, as we know, there is a few things that would make weight loss work, right? If you are in a position to lose weight, and that's a big if, because I would say 50, 60% of the people coming inside our program, joining the program, they're not yet in a position to lose weight. We need to prime the metabolism first. And we did a video. I did a video the other day about it, and fix my metabolism. If you want to go back and watch it, if you are there, then like good seeing you, Maria. So if you are there, then you want to probably go back and to understand that you need to prime your metabolism first. But if you are in a position to lose weight loss is relatively simple. There is your body is reactive, so there is a certain threshold which we're gonna call, for the sake of logic, 2,000 calorie. And if you want to make weight loss sustainable, not only weight loss but body recomposition, you would need probably to cut some of these calories, and you would need to probably add some of the output, some of the workouts, some of strength training, some hydration, making sure that your metabolism structurally can support that. Now, this sounds very easy to do, but if it was so easy, then we wouldn't have about 80% of 60% of the world being obese, right? The problem is that every single thing you get offered on the table, which is either a diet or a recipe book or whatever, they don't necessarily show you how to apply. There is always like a bunch of information, but there's no logic, right? Now, I want to give you something to make it easier, right? If you're watching here today, there is one thing that you want to be probably getting it. Just we give this away, and I wanna give this away first to explain you, what we do, but secondly, then you're gonna get the practical application about it. But not so long ago, I did create this recipe book, which is basically the recipe book for ladies over 40 to make tasty recipes, right? And obviously, we're gonna talk about that today. And one of the things that we will talk about is actually how to cook tasty food, low calorie dense, high taste, high volume recipes. Because if I was to tell you that, instead of like getting the problem when I get a recipe book myself is always there is like some weird ingredients that you cannot find, or they start to cook, or sometimes it takes longer to cook. If I make it like instead, if I gave you like 60 recipes, right, that all of them are easy to cook, fast, they taste well, right, but then it's like high in volume that you're not hungry, and then you're like also they're lower in calorie, by default, you would make weight loss irrelevant. It's like you don't even need to think about it, right? You don't need to make it like, okay, I need to jump on a diet. It's just simple, right? And obviously, we need to understand why that happens, and we need to understand the logic, right? So one thing that we did inside this this thing, which is basically what I'd like to share now, is that if you want to this recipe book, which is always gonna grow, all you need to do is like comment recipe below. Okay, so basically this is a recipe book, 600 calorie and below. So basically it says, you want to be utilizing the 80 to 20 rules in nutrition for consistency, is explaining what it is. But then you can, for 20%, and I go ahead and say you could potentially even do 50 and 50. You want to be cooking those things. This shows you exactly how to cook. These are relatively simple. And again, I wanted to make this video today because not only about this, but I'm going to show you visually in our guides how can you start doing that, right? But on top of that, I want to show you what you need to do on top of that, right? It's not about only the recipes, but it's about understanding how this thing works. So, there is two schools of thinking, really, when you want to be doing nutrition. Mainly, right now, there might be one coming up more in the future, but now we only have real two big ones that people are aware of. Number one is like tracking your food, which is very different than counting calories. Counting calories is like you're going to count calories for the rest of your life. Tracking food is like you're aware of what's happened, and then you use something like MyFitnessPal, lose it to track it. Or on the other side, you go towards intuitive eating, right? Intuitive eating is something like of this nature, which is something like that. Precision nutrition made this thing famous, which basically means that you want to be utilizing plates, and plates like let me just go to this one, for example. You want to be utilizing these kind of strategies, and this shows you clearly that as long as you're aware that for the most part you're going to be using either a balanced plate, a side of protein, a side of starches. As you see, a quarter of half of the meal is vegetable, there is some fruit, there is some starch and some fat. It's the same quantity of protein, and therefore you would that easy as a balanced nutrition, right? Then a lower carb or higher carb rate, you want to be using a higher carb more when you are doing some sort of like workouts, and then when you don't really do much, you want to be using that side of starch instead. You're going to use the side of fat, right? If you by default do that all the time, chances are you'll be in a calorie deficit, right? Believe it or not, there is no X. What happens on over 40 is just more difficult to do it because your body compensates, because you have less muscle mass, because you're less hydrated, because there is a bunch of stuff hormonally going on. But that's not like, by all means, even if you did have insulin resistant, thyroid, whatever case is, that is not stopping your weight loss. It's maybe slowing it down. And obviously the thing that you want to be doing instead, when you have, and what makes the real value of having a coach when you have some thyroid issue, some cortisol issue, some insulin issue, is that we know exactly the individual needs. We're going to know exactly the threshold of carb that you need. We're going to know exactly the timing. We're going to know exactly that if you're thyroid or immune disease, we need to kind of go into elimination diet. We need to go into testing it. But there is not like some miracle that says, take this template and then you're going to be done. You're going to have to take some sort of a strategy. We're going to have to implement it, and then we're going to have to optimize together. This is the value of a coach. This is why we are able to guarantee the results, and we give these results we give, right? But today I want to show you something that you can start doing already, because if you calculate your metabolism total daily need, not metabolism, but total daily intake of calorie, and it comes out that you are 2000, for instance, we use that number again. And if you want to kind of like, actually, let me just do this way, you're going to have some more value inside the video. Step number one that you should want to be doing, and again, this is more so towards like the person that is not in a program, because in the program we do it with you in the very first onboarding call. One thing that you're going to be doing, calculating your metabolism, right? Let's say you're 40, you are 90 kilos, you are, I don't know, 171, you're sedentary, right? This is 2000 calories. This is basically what you need, right? So we know right now that if you want to lose weight, and we don't really look at the output, I'm going to suggest you move a little bit more. I'm going to suggest you work out a few times a week. I'm not going to go into that right now. This is not the scope of the video. But I'm going to tell you that by nature, if you are around 1500 or 1600 or 1700, most times you will by nature lose weight. How do you do that? It's quite simple, right? You go to my recipe book I just told you, and you do 3 meals. Of those meals that you see, 600 calories times 3. You did 3 times, you do 1 breakfast, 1 lunch, and 1 dinner, you would lose weight. Now, let's make this thing practical, and let's make you understand why this thing works really well. It's because, by nature, it is not just about cooking stuff or going on a calorie deficit or whatever. You need to be able to not feel as if you are in a diet. You need to be able to not feel as if something is restrictive, right? And the way you do that is simple. It's like you go to the guides and you go inside, and again, this stuff is free. I highly suggest you start using it, because like most of these things that you see here are, most paid programs do not have this kind of information. We make this thing like available to the public, and we make this thing easy to implement, right? You go level 1 nutrition, and you get this information I just described to you right now. How to utilize fat sources, like 100 calories of each stuff, 100 calories of fat, 100 calories. So if you want to make a meal, 100 calories of protein, 100 calories of fat, 100 calories of vegetable, and 1 of fruit, you would make a full meal. All you have to do is to really choose. But the one thing I wanted to really show you before, and this is why I wanted to create this video, is that you have low calorie recipes and high calorie recipes, right? You will find, for the most part, at least for the one that I posted, not from people in the program, but stuff that I posted, you would find this stuff, right? So how can you end up eating rice, which is so tasty, and something like with 500 calories? Most times that you cook this kind of stuff, you don't get 75 grams of protein. You don't get all this taste with marsala and everything. It's because simple. It's like the base of rice is not 150 grams like most people do, but it's only 80 grams. Okay, adding a chicken or mushroom, or adding vegetable and protein will make this thing more bulky, will make this thing more voluminous, will make this thing more higher in fiber, higher in volume, and you're basically going to feel full. And this is basically one thing that you want to be knowing. Some other people have posted again this is also from me, right? So 300 something calorie Crispell. You can just see the benefit of having high protein here. And you start easy. You grain 30 grams of oatmeal, you put some vanilla in there, extracts of protein pudding. This is optional, but I highly suggest you do. Egg whites, skim milk, and then if you want to go with peanut butter, I would highly suggest PB2 powders. There are powders that includes 50% less fat than usual, right? And again, you just make this one, like you blend it in, and then like you put some spray on the pan, and you cook it like it was a pancake, right? Again, there is a bunch of stuff in here, right? Another one that you see here, again, some of have been from clients, right? But you can, now it's gone. But you can find so many things that you can implement. You need to start implementing these things. you need to start like practicing, because again, it's worthless for you to have ask for resources, give me this training, give me that training, and then you do nothing with it. You don't even open it. And I know for a fact that this is what several people do. This is easy also to understand. You don't have exactly what it is, but it's easy. You put just ground beef, you put a bunch of vegetable, you cook it, you can air fry it if you want, and you will get that. This is a Greek yogurt, which is basically frozen, and then you just take them off, and then you put some coconut powder on top for fiber, right? What else? Let's see what we have. It's a bunch of things. Again, a lot of volume here, right? So you can use whatever meat you want. Lean meat would be best, and you just go with that. What else do we have? Because I wanted to kind of like, this is what I explained yesterday in the call. You take 70 grams of pasta, you kind of like melt a bunch of cheese. If you are lactose intolerant, you wouldn't use that. Obviously, grana, it doesn't have lactose in there, so you can use that all the time. You fry, not fry. You can either air fry or like you just cook a little bit, some lean ham, and that. So basically, as you see here, it's all small quantities, right? And then you cook the pasta. You boil the pasta on the other side, and then in one separate pan, you just make all these sauces, like with some milk, some grana, some other cheeses to make it really tasty. You can salt things, using sea salt is best. And then as you see here, look, it shows you how to cook it. Why this thing is working is because it tastes well and it's 600 calories. And why 600 calories is because unlike most pastas, you just don't like cook 2 plates of pasta and then with a bunch of condiments. You just take the bulk of the protein, you make it somehow tasty because you still put in there some other some cheeses. If you don't like cheeses, you can use potentially tomato, of course. It's up to you. There is no rules. And then, of course, this is another thing, Mexican style, right? You also go inside the culture. Again, what is the trick is like, it's not 200 grams of rice, it's only 80 grams. It's a bunch of onions. So you can use ham, you can use some other, you can use turkey, you can use a bunch of other vegetable if you don't like. 46 grams of protein. For all of you that always say to me, I don't know how to feed my protein. If you cook this way, you're already getting half of you. Most women have 50% of the protein intake, they're already getting it with this, right? So that's one way to do it, right? Another way to do it, as I said yesterday in the call, you can just right now in 2024 almost, there is no excuse for protein. It's easy to get protein. You get protein pudding, you get protein Greek yogurts and stuff like that. If you don't like solid stuff, you can just go ahead and just, get stuff like, shakes. If you don't like shakes in the powder, you can just go and buy it. They're already made. They also come with a version of lactose free. They come with a version of soy milk. They come with a version of almond milk. There's a bunch of stuff nowadays. There is no excuse not to be able to cook healthy. And obviously, to cook healthy means like there is no good and bad foods, but it's like to cook favorably for you to lose weight, which by nature will make you healthy. You want to be cooking stuff like higher in protein, higher in fiber, and then, of course, lower in calorie and higher in volume, because low in calorie and high in volume. Look at this, for example. This look like a cheat meal, right? Except for the ketchup, which is, my ketchup is low sugar ketchup, right? So again, I'm looking for the detail here. This is bison or whatever dark meat. This is, I think, 300 grams of fries, which what I did was put some herbs in there. I put some truffle oil, just to see. The truffle oil is the only fattening thing that is in there. Truffle oil, if I wanted to make it more, this is only 10 grams, 100 calories. If I wanted to not have this and make it no oil, I could simply just not have done it, right? And then I put some grana in there to make it almost like truffle oil fries. And then I air fry it, because if you deep fry it, all in a sudden now you're gonna eat more than 1,000 calories. This is a little bit more higher than the other one, but 700 calories for a meal like that, which 78 grams of protein, 50 grams of carbs, 6 grams of fiber and 28 grams of fat, which of course includes all the oil and shit. I mean, I think it's a pretty good trade-off, right? And again, your body will always think in weeks, not in days, right? If this is helpful, by the way, let me know. Just comment down below. This is helpful. You can potentially hit quote unquote healthy for 50% or 60% or 70 or 80%, and only utilize these meals when you have cravings. When you have cravings, as I pointed out several times, if you're not an emotional eater, most of the time it's physiological. So you will be needing to either give in to the cravings or find a way not to give in. If you're doing a bunch of cardio, you will have more cravings. If you are in a huge deficit for a long time, you will have more cravings. So it's normal, right? So you need to be smart with that. If you give your body what it needs, your brain, and not your body, your brain what it needs, which is usually something sweet, something sour, something it likes, and then you give it to a much lower level of calorie, by nature, you will lose weight. I go ahead and say, if you need to hit 1,500 calories, you have 3 of these meals, you will lose weight automatically. You don't even need to hit perceive healthy, boring food. You don't even need to do that if you don't want. And by nature, I would say this is the framework I offer. Is like, if you are a person that always eats pretty healthy, then you go healthy because you're used to it. If you're a person that eats McDonald's all the time and you have 30 kilo or 40 kilo to lose, chances are what you did in the past life, if you want to call it that, in the past 5 to 10 years, chances are is unhealthy choices, including soda, including regular Coke, including a bunch of like these kind of meals, right? Or even eating healthy, but more than you should. So you just go with these recipes, which are basically tasty and full in volume, and you go changing, for example, Diet Coke versus regular Coke, and by nature you will lose weight. I go ahead and say, if you have the more weight you have to lose, the higher you're gonna lose quicker if you start making these choices, right? This is something that, again, banana bread, same thing. How do you cook banana bread, by the way, in a healthier way? Well, you take some ancient grain dough. You take, instead of sugar, you take xylitol or anything like that. You take a bunch of you can include stuff like Greek yogurt in there. You can include things such as maybe a scoop of protein powder. And then you melt the whole thing up and you put some baking powder and you cook it, right? And again, don't go hang up on me and it's like, oh, but I didn't see the degree I have to cook for. I didn't see the eating. I mean, get resourceful. Like probably 200 degree Celsius, which is, I don't know, how many in Fahrenheit? The double? I don't know. Just figure it out. You just cook this for 20, 30 minutes. You try it. If it's too soft, next time you make it more time. If it's too hard, then you make it less time. I mean, become resourceful. Try. Don't let this all the time stuff like you're in certainty that you need to be perfect to be the difference maker. Here we have a next example. I think it was Sharani that posted this. And again, let's see if she did. She also said, see how much oil, how much that. Again, you get, here, look at that. Like you get the answer. It seems like this is what it was, right? We also have the recipes. Go ahead and use this stuff. This stuff is there to use it. I still, it's even beyond me that we actually give this stuff away for free all the time, right? So, whether you're in the program or outside from the program, you're getting the same level of information in the group. So use that stuff. Yesterday, I talked about how to make this one of the better, healthiest dessert ever. You grate the oats, so it becomes, the texture is very filling, right? And it's also eating like a souffle. You can put some protein powder or protein pudding in there. You use skim milk. If you're allergic to whatever, to lactose, you just go ahead and do regular, almond milk or whatever. The dark chocolate would make this thing taste like a dessert, because you can use either whatever chocolate you like, or chocolate with walnuts or whatever, chocolate with orange, if that's your thing. You can use one, as long as it's one square, it's not going to damage anything, right? Then you the cocoa powder will make this thing fiber rich and also filling. If you want to put some extra protein, will make this thing like it's almost like hard to eat, so you're really full. And if you want to throw some sliced pear on top just to make it like more fancy, you can also do that. But over here, we're looking at less than 500 calories into a dessert. By nature, if you can research it if you want, is 1,500 calories. That's the shit that makes you lose weight versus gaining, because like there is nothing wrong in going to the restaurant, by the way, and getting your tiramisu and getting your souffle. You can do this thing all the time. You can do this thing once in a while, but not all the time, because again, this is what trick most people. You are diligent during the week, then you go out in the weekend and you say, oh, but that sucks, I cannot have my cheat meals. Yes, you can, but you need to be aware of what you're doing. If the cheat meals is like a souffle, which is 1,500 calorie, a pizza, which is 2,000 calorie, and 3 beers, which is 600 calorie, now in one meal, in one sitting, you have defeated most people deficit for the whole week. This is what you're not losing weight, not because of genetics, not because of the age, not because of the metabolism, not because of the hormone. It's because you're not aware of what you're doing. Provided you are ready to lose weight. Again, provided you are, because some people, in fact, need to get ready first. I did talk about this inside our call yesterday. You can look at the Q&A again. By the way, this shows you exactly how to cook it. The point of this thing that I made is because I want to show you how to utilize this stuff. Stop just asking for resources and like actually practice. The first thing you do is not going to come out maybe it's going to come out tasty, maybe not. But the other thing, obviously, you need to practice. Again, there are so many recipes. Reps by nature makes things very fulfilling. Again, the difference maker is gonna be the bread. So go and look for a bread that is low in calorie and high in taste. A bunch of stuff here for desserts. Oh, this is actually pretty good. There is 2 more recipes I want to talk about, and then I'm gonna need to go into other stuff. And also, this is kind of like the end. There is always going to be more recipes I'm going to post. This is credit, of course, to Coach Greg Doucette. You can look it up if you want. He is the one that created this kind of like low calorie dense, high volume food. Obviously, we use it. I mean, so many people use it. And obviously, we put our spin to it. But the way that you do it is like you take a bunch of toast bread. You can use also ice cream, Halo Top, like the best ice cream that I know is Halo Top, or any sort of like lower calorie, high volume, high protein ice cream. But aside from the ice cream, what you can do is like you take a bunch of egg whites, you put cinnamon in there, that's the kicker. You can put some xylitol to make it more, or any sweetener that you want. Sugar-free syrup, maple syrup, if you want. You can also put some of that. You blend the whole thing, and then you take this. You take obviously the bread, toast bread, doesn't matter if whatever you choose. If you take ancient grain bread, if you take old grain bread, that's much better for your insulin spikes. So like if you have insulin resistant, you can still eat it as long as you use that. You dip into all that juices of protein, this one, and then you put just some. You can cook it with some spray, hot spray. You can cook it with some butter if you want to make it more tasty. And again, you just do one side and then you go to the other side for a couple of minutes, and there you are. And the last one I wanted to talk about, which is of course my favorite, probably what I might have this later on. I'm not sure, but maybe. What this is gonna look like is it tastes like a pizza, but it's 500 calorie instead of 2,000, right? And it's simple. It's like, again, the base is toast, and then you just press everything with your finger just to create space. You put some seasoning on, like you put some tomato sauce, you put some seasoning, you put light mozzarella if you want, or you can put regular one. I like to put some peppers, and I like to put some ham, and the mozzarella is going to make it taste like the same, like a pizza. You can put some oregano that is going to make it taste also like a pizza. And then basically you cook it again, 200 degrees Celsius for about 20 minutes. Time more, time less, depending whatever, like, how the taste is. Try it out. It's a game changer. I'm telling you, it tastes like real pizza. Yeah, and I see some people, great info. Apply the info. Like I see this all the time. People wanting for more info, only to not do anything with it. Just test, practice, and post in the group. If you're not a member of the program, it's even more for you. It's like you really need to start doing something in the group. we're going to start in 2024, get either engagement in a group or remove people from the group. This group, as you saw today, is more valuable than most groups, most coaches paid program. Why do I give it out for free? Because unfortunately, I know that 90% of people won't do the work. And in one sense, it's almost like a one way for me to tell you, if I can actually show you that you get results, maybe you want to change your life and you're ready to value your life, then maybe you are ready for us, right? If you are in a program, you already responded to that. You're already valuing yourself. You're already doing the work. But still, I would suggest you test these things, right? It's easy stuff to implement. Just go ahead, just test whether you're in the program or not. Make this recipe, post in the group, make your own spin to it. Tag us, tag me and Coach Dory, and let's see if we can actually help you. One more time, if you're watching this in this particular time, we're in December 12th right now. We're about 7 days away for the challenge, the holiday challenge, and I want to see if I still have the other thing open. Let me see if I still have it, because I did had it before. If you're missing this yet, if you haven't heard about it, if you haven't had a chance to see anything about us, we're gonna have a holiday challenge in which it's gonna be one of the biggest challenge ever. And again, if you're watching this that is too late, obviously it doesn't apply. But if you're watching this that you still have chance to get in, if you are in a program, this thing is totally free for you. Rightfully so. People in the program have invested time, money, and energy and trust into us. Rightfully so, it's free. For people that are not in the program, it's free, but you need to commit, putting a 250 euro deposit, which is refundable at the end of the challenge, because you're gonna get me and Coach Dory for 21 days. You're gonna get so many life stuff going on. You're gonna get a application giving you meal plans and shit like that for 21 days. You're gonna get check-ins. You're gonna get like what's part of what our people get, and therefore, requirement number one, you click on this and you sign up, and you basically, requirement number one, again, the challenge is with a refundable deposit. Requirement number two, at the end of it, you need us to give us a video testimonial with sharing the fact that you will not probably gain weight, or even if you gain weight, you're gonna probably be more in control of your holiday, right? This is basically why we're doing the challenge. For the people, and again, this is not for the people in the program, obviously, for people that actually sign up in this manner, you will get the second chance program for free. This is a program that usually was worth 2,000, now is worth 299 because it's a course now. You get this for free. If you are in the group, if you are in my program, by the way, and you want the second chance for free, and you take in the challenge, I'll give it to you. Yeah? So just text me in case that you want it, and you are an emotional leader. Obviously, I'll hook you up. This is part of what you're getting, right? This is quite important. It's going to be the biggest challenge ever so far. Last year we have $75 dollar prize. This year we have $250. The winner, which will be drawn or based on post and based on the transformation that they make, not transformation, physical transformation, the whole thing, mental and everything, and adherence and everything, will be getting that price. Next year around, I foresee being 500 or maybe 1,000 euro, the price. So obviously it's important for you to understand why we do things the way we do it, because we did more than a year. I think we did more than 12 mini challenges, totally free, 7 days usually. We had always the same pattern, people in the program doing the work, people in the group, over 2,000 people not doing anything. Honestly, I'm tired of it. I want to see either you succeed or you probably changing group if you're not in the program, or I want you to actually see some commitment here. Because realistically, stop saying to yourself you're going to change if you're not. It looks much better if you don't say anything, right? So instead, if you want to change, this is why we do things, right? We have free mindset calls. We have free education calls like today. We have free lives. We have free things that you can jump on Zoom. I just had last week, rate my metabolism, something that you can actually do an exercise, jump in there, and whether you're in or not in the program, I can help you get clear on what's going on. help me help you and make sure that you change your life. Let's make 2024 finally something that you can strive. Stop looking around for the quick fix. There is no quick fix. Stop looking around for the magical hack that people keep telling you that there is, which is there is not. Instead, doing the boring work and doing whatever works is the way to go. Hopefully this helped. Hopefully this is going to be a very valuable video. I know it will go around in several different ways. And I'm glad to see a lot of new people here. Hopefully this can help you as well. Coach Jerry here. I talk to you soon, and I see you all for the challenge next Monday. Bye-bye.